You already know you're wasting your life. The only question is how long you're going to keep lying to yourself about it. Oh, but of course, you don't have time. That's why you scroll for hours like it's your full-time job. That's why you keep saying, "I'll start tomorrow," while another month disappears. Keep telling yourself that lie. See how far it gets you. You feel it when the day ends and nothing important actually moved forward. But instead of facing it, you stay busy with meaningless bullshit and act surprised when another year vanishes. That's not a time problem. That's you being weak and dishonest with yourself. Now, here's what most people never think about. Marcus Aurelius wasn't some broke guy with nothing else to do. He was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive. He had everything that could waste a man's time: entertainment, luxury, women, parties, endless distractions, and people ready to kiss his ass 24/7. He could have spent his entire life in comfort and pleasure if he wanted. Most men in his position did exactly that, but Marcus didn't. Funny how the man with the most reasons to waste time chose not to. While he had every possible opportunity to distract himself, he treated time like it was the only thing he couldn't afford to lose. And he wrote down exactly how he protected it, even when the whole world tried to pull him into bullshit. In this video, I'm going to show you what Marcus actually did differently. Not soft motivation, not nice quotes, the raw truth about how he stopped time from slipping away, even when he had more distractions than almost anyone alive. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly where your time is really going and how to stop pissing it away. So if you're finally ready to stop lying to yourself, stay until the end. And if this hit you, drop a comment right now and write, "I'm done wasting it." Or keep telling yourself you still have plenty of time left, while your life keeps disappearing one scroll at a time. Your choice. Most people love to hide behind one sentence more than anything. They say it so often that it starts sounding like truth. I don't have time. But let's be honest for once. When someone says they don't have time, what they usually mean is they don't have the discipline to protect the time they already have. They'll spend 40 minutes arguing in the comments section, but claim they can't find 20 minutes to work on something that actually matters. Oh, but of course they're busy. Busy scrolling through other people's lives while their own quietly falls apart. Busy saying yes to things they don't even care about, then complaining they have no time left for themselves. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most people don't actually want more time. They want more time to waste. Because facing what they could do with their time would force them to admit how much they've already thrown away. And that's too painful for most. So, instead, they keep repeating the same cycle. Wake up, make excuses, stay distracted, go to sleep, repeat. Then they wonder why nothing in their life ever changes. It's not that time is moving too fast, it's that they're too weak to control how they spend it. But there was one man who had every reason to waste his time and still chose not to. While most people today can't even stay off their phone for 2 hours, this man ran an empire without letting time control him. And the way he actually did it is what we're going to break down next. Most people think if they had more power, more money, or more freedom, they would finally stop wasting time. They believe the only reason they're distracted is because life is too hard or too boring. But history shows something completely different. There was a man who had almost unlimited power. He didn't need permission from anyone. He could have spent his days doing whatever he wanted, chasing pleasure, avoiding hard decisions, or surrounding himself with people who only told him what he wanted to hear. Most men who reach that level of power eventually break. They either become arrogant, lazy, or completely disconnected from reality. Marcus Aurelius was different. Even though he carried the weight of the entire Roman Empire on his shoulders, he refused to let that power destroy him. He didn't use his position as an excuse to become soft. Instead, he used it as a reason to become stricter with himself. While others in his position were busy protecting their image and chasing validation, he was busy writing down his own weaknesses in private. That's what separates him from almost every powerful man in history. Most people, when they get power, use it to escape responsibility. Marcus used his power to increase his responsibility, especially toward himself. And the crazy part is, he did all of this while constantly being surrounded by war, politics, betrayal, and pressure that most of us can't even imagine. Yet he still found time to think deeply about how he was spending his life. Most people today can't even stay consistent for 2 weeks without making excuses. This man stayed consistent with his principles while running the most powerful empire in the world. That's why what he wrote still matters. Next, we're going to look at the actual ideas Marcus lived by when it came to time, not the watered-down version you usually hear, but the raw truths he followed, even when it was difficult. Marcus didn't write those nice little quotes you see on Instagram. He was talking to himself, like someone who was tired of his own bullshit. And when it came to time, he didn't sugarcoat anything. One thing he kept drilling into himself was this: stop acting like you have forever. He basically told himself, do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Most people read that and nod like it's deep. But in reality, they're still scrolling for 2 hours straight and telling themselves they'll start tomorrow. Marcus wasn't trying to sound wise. He was trying to stop himself from becoming one of those people who wake up one day and realize they've done nothing with the time they were given. He also made it very clear that the real danger isn't dying young. The real danger is going through your entire life without ever actually living it. He wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." You see this shit everywhere. People spend 10, 15, even 20 years stuck in the same place. Same job they hate, same toxic relationships, same bad habits. And keep saying, "One day I'll change." Marcus would have looked at that and called it what it is: slow suicide dressed up as patience. Another thing he hammered on was control. He kept reminding himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And that's where most people completely lose the plot. They let every notification, every opinion, every random problem steal their time and attention. Then they act surprised when they reach the end of the day with nothing to show for it. Marcus didn't have that excuse. Even when he was dealing with war, betrayal, and running an empire, he still refused to hand over control of his time to outside chaos. And this one might piss some people off, but he basically said, remember that very little is needed to make a happy life. In a world where everyone is chasing more money, more status, more validation, Marcus was saying most of that chase is a waste of time. The more you run after unnecessary things, the less time you have for what actually matters. He wasn't telling people to stay poor or small. He was telling them to stop lying to themselves about what they really need to be happy. These weren't just thoughts for him. He was writing this while carrying the weight of an entire empire, and still, he refused to waste his time on things that didn't deserve it. Next, we're going to look at how he actually lived these ideas day to day, what he did differently when it came to protecting his time. Here's the lie that quietly destroys more people than anything else. They tell themselves they still have time. Not in a loud or obvious way. It's much quieter than that. It shows up when they keep postponing important decisions, important habits, and important conversations. They don't say it out loud, but deep down they believe there will always be another chance, another year, another opportunity, another perfect moment. But the truth is that the way you spend your time today is usually the way you'll spend it for the rest of your life, unless you forcefully change it. The people who keep lying to themselves about having more time are usually the same ones who reach the end of their life filled with quiet regret. Not because life was too short, but because they kept waiting for the right time that never actually came. Marcus refused to play that game. He treated every day like it could be one of his last, not out of fear, but out of clarity. He knew that the only time you truly have is right now. Everything else is just a story you tell yourself to feel better about wasting the present. And that's the lie most people never stop telling. Next, we're going to end this with a final direct message about what you need to do with the time you actually have. We've covered a lot today, but if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your plans, and it sure as hell doesn't care how busy you pretend to be. The only thing that matters is what you actually do with the time you have left. So here's my question for you. How much more of your life are you willing to waste before you finally decide to take control? Think about that. If this video hit you, I want you to do one thing right now. Drop a comment and write, "No more wasting my time." I want to see who's actually serious about changing how they use their time. And if you're getting value from this kind of raw, no bullshit approach to life and mindset, then hit the subscribe button. I make videos like this regularly, breaking down how powerful men like Marcus Aurelius actually thought and lived. If that's the kind of content you want more of, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Remember this, you don't need more time. You need to stop lying to yourself about how you're spending the time you already have. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and most importantly, stay in control of your time. I'll see you in the next one.